Alright, I'm live. Good morning, everyone. We are continuing the mergers study material problems. Let me just take the study material, friends. Yes, we were doing mergers. Just a minute. I hope you all can see me and the audio video is clear. Please confirm in the chat box. Good morning, Ashwini. Okay. I think we were stuck in a question called simple dimple. Yes, this was a question where we stopped yesterday. I believe we completed question number 14, right? Everyone please take question number 15 now. Okay, I'll give you a minute's time. Can you please read through the question and understand the question? Alright friends, so let's read through it together. Simple and Dimple are planning to merge. The total value of the company is dependent on the fluctuating business conditions. The following information is given for the total value. This is the value of equity and debt. Down they have given the separate value of Simple, debt value, and debt value of Dimple is also given over here. They want you to find out the expected value of debt and equity separately. Okay, so friends, first what we will do is we have the outcomes and we have the probability. From this, can I find out the expected value? Okay, so I'll write down working note number 1. Expected value. Okay, so for this expected value, I'll start with Simple. Fine. So I'll give a table, business condition, high, medium, slow. Alright, so you have a probability given over here, that is 0.2, 0.6, 0.2. Alright, then they have given the value of Simple, that is 820, 550, and what about the last one, 410. So the expected value of Simple is very simple. You have to do 820 into 0.2, that is 164. Okay. 550 into 0.6, that is 330. 410 into 0.2, that is 82. So if you add up these three numbers, what is the answer you get over there? You get the answer as 576. Friends, I think we can do dimple also here itself. Same way, I'll write down dimple here, and the last column will be expected value of dimple. Okay? Can you please do this on your own, friends, now? Tell me the answer of dimple on your own. Alright? I'll check in the chat box. Good morning, Sharat. Good morning, Anushri. Thank you so much for confirming that audio and video is clear. Please write down this. Alright friends, have you got the answer? Should I do it here for dimple? I'll do it here also, friends. I think you're still doing 1050, 825, 590. 1050. Second one is 825, and what is the last one? 590. So 1050 into 0.2 will be 210. Okay. 825 into 0.6 will be 495. Okay. And the last one is 590 into 0.2 will be how much? 118. 823. That should be the answer for dimple. I hope you all have got this answer, friends. Can I go to the next part now? Okay. So now I'll just tell you, for simple, if the total value is turning out to be how much? I think I got the answer as 576. This has to be now broken down into two parts. One is equity and the other one is debt, correct? How many is the debt value for simple told over here? Has they told it as 460 as debt, correct? So from 576, if 460 is debt, how much will turn out to be equity? 116. Similarly, if you are talking about dimple, what is the total value of dimple we got? Did we get the total value as 823? Correct? So from this 823, we can break it down into equity and debt. The debt value, if I am not wrong, is 65. So the equity value will be 758. Can you just draw this chart in your books now? Fine, friends. I believe you have all put up till here in your books now. Can I go to the next part? Friends, this is one way of solving this problem. But the institute has taken one assumption that I have not taken over here. So I will do the same problem in using method 2 now. Okay. Method 2, this is a method used by ICAI. They have made things a little bit complicated. For simple, they have given a table like this. Particulars, total value, we will take it into equity, and the other one is debt. Okay, we are having three scenarios now: high, medium, slow. High, medium, slow. What is the total value we are having? 820, 550, 410, 820, 550, and what is the last one? It is 410. Am I right? So now if you see, debt value is 460. So I'll write 460, 460, and 460. So can I say in that case equity will be nothing but the balancing figure? So that would turn out to be how much over here? 360, 90. In the last case, it will turn out to be minus 50. Okay, can you write down till here in your books now? Alright friends, have you all put up till here in your books? So now what they say is that, okay, equity value cannot be negative, it can be zero. So the note that you will give below this is that, okay, in third scenario, value of equity will be treated as zero. Okay, can you write down that point also in your books now? Alright, now I will find out the revised valuation, okay, of simple. Here what we will do now is we will draw a table, particulars, high, medium, slow, equity, probability, expected value of equity, okay, and then I'll write debt, fine, probability is not required over there, expected value of debt. Alright, so now I have got different numbers. It's 360, 90, 0. 360, 90, 0. And the probability is 0.2, 0.6, 0.2. So I'll get the number here as 72, 54, 0. Do I get the answer as 126 over here? Debt, the value is how much? 460. 460, that is 92, 276, 92, but the total will be how much? It will be 460 only. Can you write down this in your books now? Alright, have you all put up till here? Fine. I'll go to the next part now. I hope everybody is clear so far. So if you look at this in this manner that we have got, 1 minute. Sorry, this was a slide. I believe you all have written down this slide. Okay. So what we understand here is that now the value of equity turns out to be 126 and the value of debt turns out to be 460. If I add up these two things, I'll get the total value as how much? 586. Okay. Compared to the earlier one, I think we got the answer as, earlier we got the value as 576, now we are getting the value as 586. Can you please put this up in your books? Fine friends, I believe we are done with this. After this, the next thing what comes up is the same way we have to do it for dimple. But dimple, we don't have much complication because I'll draw a table particulars. Total value, equity value, debt value, high, medium, slow. Okay, so you get the answer as 1050. 825 and the last one is 590. Okay, so from this we know the debt percentage is how much? 65, 65, 65. So the equity will be 985 in the first case, 760 in the second case, 525 in the last case. Can you write down this in your books, friends? Alright, I believe you are done with this. So once you do this, we can find out the value now. Particulars. I'll give probability, equity, debt, expected value of equity, expected value of debt, high, medium, slow, and the probabilities are 0.2, 0.6, 0.2. And for equity, the values are going to be now 985, 760. And the last one will be 525, 65, 65, 65. Okay. So once you multiply with the probability, you get the number as 13 here, 39, 13. Total will be 65 only. But the other one would be 197, 456, 105. So the total will turn out to be 758. So here there is no change actually. So if I just draw the chart also here itself, 758, 65. If you add up these two, you get the value as 823. This is exactly the same value what you got earlier also. Can you write down this also and finish it off, friends? Fine, friends. I believe you are done with this part. Can I go to the next one now? Okay, so we are done with this question, friends. Let us take question number 16 now. A question on business valuation. Can you read through it? There are two companies over here, Yes Limited and merged entity, and No Limited. Okay, so they have given the cash flows of the merged entity. They have given the cash flows of Yes. Earnings would have witnessed a 5% growth rate without merger. So let's write down the basic data now. What is the growth rate they are saying over here? 5% without merger. And 6% with merger in account of economies of operation. Okay. So growth rate with merger will turn out to be how much? It will be 6%. Alright. The cost of capital is how much? 15%. Cost of capital 15%. Number of shares outstanding in both the companies before merger is the same, and they have agreed for an exchange ratio of 0.5. Okay, so number of shares before merger is the same. They have agreed for an exchange ratio of 0.5 of yes for each share of no. So exchange ratio 0.5 is to 1. Alright, can you please write down till here in your books first? Alright friends, I believe you have put up till here. Now they are asking you to find out the value of Yes Limited before and after merger. Okay, so I'll write down the first one. Friends, before merger the growth is only 5%. After merger it becomes how much? It becomes 6%. So first I'll write down working note number 2. Value of Yes Limited before merger. Alright, so friends, they have given some cash flows over here, right? Value is nothing but present value of future cash flows. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Along with that, they have told it's having a constant growth rate of how much percentage? 5%. So what I'll do is I'll take first, I'll draw the table here, cash flow, discount factor, discounted cash flow. I'll write down the numbers here, 175, 200, 320, 340 and 350. And the discount factor is said to be how much percentage, friends? 15%. So leave 0.869, 0.756, 0.657, 0.571, and the last one is 0.497. Friends, can you please do this and tell me what is the answer that you get over there? This is only step number 1, okay? Step number 1 is going to be stable cash flow. We have one more step, but please do this and let me know the answer in the chat box, okay? In the meanwhile, I'll get some water for myself, friends. Alright friends, have you got the answer? I'll do it on the board, but please let me know the answer if you have already got it. It is 882.44. This is the answer, okay? This is not enough, friends, because this company is going towards perpetuity. I'll draw a graph to explain the logic of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For these 5 years, they have given the cash flows like 175, 200, 320, 340, and the last one is how much? 350. But from here, it is growing at how much percentage? It is growing at 5%. Can you please put that also in your books? Excellent, friends. Everybody got the answer as 8. 1 minute. 823 or 882? Let me confirm. It is 882, friends. I think you went wrong somewhere. It is 882. Okay. Can you please draw this chart in your books now? Alright friends, have you all put up till here in your books now? Fine, I'll go to the next part. So what happens is, I will now find out year 6 cash flow, okay, and take the present value of perpetuity. So once I do this, I will get the value at the end of year 5, and then I will again discount it to year 0. Now this part is something what people find it little complicated. I will go little slow here. Can you write down this in your books? All right, friends. I believe you have put up. I will give it to you here one by one again. Okay. From year 6, cash flow goes towards perpetuity. Okay. Hence, we will find present value of perpetuity from year 6 onwards. This will give you the value at the end of what? Year 5. Okay, this will give you the value at the end of year 5. Let's go to the next part again. Okay, year 5 value will have to be discounted again to bring it to year 0. Can you write down till here in your books now? Hi Ashwini, I think it is getting updated. I got the answer, but maybe it was a little slow. Should I check the speed of my computer? I have good speed. It is 95 Mbps. Ashwini, 1 minute. I can see the following things. I think you can see the screen. Is there anything other than this that was typed over here? I think everything is coming, Ashwini, but a little slow, that's all. Okay, fine. Please write down this in your books. The point is, after I speak, there's a 20 seconds gap when it reaches you. That is the issue actually. All right, I believe you have put up till here. So I'll write down over here now. Step number 1, not step number 1, I'll just give Roman number 1. Present value of perpetual cash flows. Okay. So you have learned the formula. P0 is equal to D1 divided by KE minus G. Okay. Therefore, if I am taking cash flow 5, not 5, cash flow 6 divided by KE minus G, I will get the price at the end of year 5 only. If 1 gives you 0, 6 will give you what? It will give you 5. So what is the cash flow at the end of year 6? That will be 350 is the 5th year cash flow plus 5% growth rate, whole divided by 15% minus 5%. So I'll get the answer as 3675 lakhs. Lakhs or crores? How is the question given? Lakhs. Now this is the value at the end of the 5th year. Therefore, I want the value at the end of year 0. So it will be 3675 into the 5th year discount factor. What is the 5th year discount factor? 0.497. Okay. So 3675 into 0.497 is 1826.475 lakhs. Can you please write down till here in your books now? It is a bit slow. Unfortunately, I don't know why it's always like that on YouTube. There is a 10 seconds gap at least, after what I speak, it reaches you a little slow. That is the issue. Alright, I believe you have got this answer. So if I take the total, I'll just give a chart over here. Value of yes before merger will basically have two parts to it. Okay, two parts will be, one will be present value of I'll call it as high growth cash flow. The first 5 years the cash flow will grow in high, and then you have present value of stable cash flow. Okay, so when you talk about high growth cash flow, I think we got the answer over here as 882, correct? And the stable cash flow of perpetuity, that is from year 6 onwards. This is year 1 to 5. This one is year 6 onwards. Okay, 882, and this one is how much? 1826. 1826. So if I add up these two things, what is the answer I get over here? I will get the answer as 2708 lakhs. Can you write down this in your books now? Alright, I believe you are done with this, friends. Now I'll speed up a little bit since you have understood this entire thing. 5308. Sriram, it is not 5308. Oh, you got the value of after merger also? Excellent, yeah, that's good speed. I will do it quickly now. I'll write down the next working note heading. Okay, value of yes after merger. So now once you talk about after merger, I'll go by 2 steps. Present value of high growth cash flow. I'll draw a table here. Cash flow, discount factor, discounted cash flow. So we have the numbers here now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be 400, 450, 525, 590, and the last one is 620. The discount factor is the same. How much percentage? 15 percentage. Step number 2 will be present value of perpetual cash flow. So P5 will be cash flow 6. Cash flow 6 will be 620 plus 6% now. Why 6%? Because the growth is changing. So I'll get the number as 7302. So P0 will be 7302 into the 5th year discount factor of 0.497. That will be 3629. Okay. Ideally, the answer, if you are doing it now, you will get the answer over here as 1679. Okay. So the overall value after merger will turn out to be the sum total of these two. That is 5308. Can you do this now in your books? One minute, friends. Sorry, friends, my son just woke up. Fine, friends, I believe you're all done with this part also. What is the value of acquisition 2599, Sriram? I didn't follow that. Let's just give a summary. I'll just give a summary over here. Value after merger. What is the total value that you get over there? 1 minute. That is 5308, correct? What is the value before merger for yes that we found out, friends? I think it was 2708, correct? Can you draw this chart in your books now? Okay, now we need to maybe find out the gain for yes shareholders. Are they asking that also in the question? Let's check. Calculate the value of yes before and after the merger. Okay, the next requirement over here is what is the value of acquisition, and they are also asking for what is the gain to the shareholder of yes. Fine. So value of acquisition is nothing but the difference of this, that is the excess value that you get over here, which turns out to be 5308 minus 2708, that is 2600 lakhs. Can you please update this in your books? Fine, friends. Last one they're asking for gain to the shareholders of Yes Limited. I'll write down the next working note heading. Gain to the shareholders of Yes. Friends, in order to find out this, I will first give you a chart to understand. There are two companies. One is Yes and which is the other one? No. They told earlier that both the companies are having the same number of shares. For timing, let us assume they have not given the number. It is 1 lakh shares in Yes and it is 1 lakh shares in No. Assume it this way. After merger, Yes will have exactly the same 1 lakh shares, but No is given only 0.5:1. 0.5:1 means how much is given to him? 50,000 shares, correct? So can I say the total number of shares in this case will be 1,50,000 shares, correct? He will be holding 66.66% voting right. This fellow will be holding 33.33% voting right. Can you draw this chart in your books now? Alright friends, have you all put up till here in your books? So now what happens is, what is the total market value after merger? 5308. So value after merger is 5308. Of this 5308, 66.66% will be attributable to Yes Limited and 33.33% will be attributable to No Limited. That will be 3538. Okay. And here it is 1770. Okay. So this is the value attributable after merger. Okay. And what is the value before merger that we found out, friends? Was it 2708? 2708 is going to be the value before merger. So I'll get the answer as 830 lakhs is going to be the gain of Yes shareholders. Can you write down this in your books now? This question consumed a lot of energy, friends. I believe you are done with this part also, friends. Everyone is clear. Okay, that's what I think you mentioned earlier. Is it, Sriram? The value before merger is 2708 and you get the value of acquisition as 2599, 2600. Is it? Yes, perfect. So friends, we are done with this question also. Alright friends, I'll pack up today's session with this. Before I leave you, okay, let's just check what are the other questions to cover. Now many similar questions are there. 17, there is only one thing new, that is weighted average swap ratio. Okay, so we'll do that part which is relevant to you. Abhiman, Swabhiman I have already done in class, so I will not be repeating the same thing here again. E and H is a question where Again, the same thing, market value, EPS, swap ratio, nothing new coming in this question. Abhiman, Abhishek also, again, the weighted average swap ratio is coming, that I'll be covering it in the next class. T and E is a different question. We need to work out this. 22, Fortune Pharma, we have already done the whole question in class. H agrees to take over B. This we have to do. It's a very big question. It covers the entire valuations, net assets, earning cap method, etc. Reliance, RI, Reliable Industries, same thing, nothing new. But I think it's a small question, we will work it out. AFC BCD is already done in class. So I won't be doing that here. So friends, if you look at this, maybe in the next few classes, even this question we have done, 26 is done in class. 570, 430 valuation is already done in my class. R and S we will do, it's a long question. So friends, next week also we will need around 3 to 4 hours of time. So we'll do in the morning 1 hour daily and we will complete all these things. Maybe max to max 5 hours. So next week we'll be completing with mergers and acquisitions. Alright. After I complete with this mergers and acquisitions, some derivative pending questions are there. I will do that and complete it in the next week itself. Hopefully the next week itself. If it doesn't get over, I might keep some extra class and finish it off. Alright. After that, I have to do some SCMPE case studies, which are very, very important. New amendment has come in the material, and since the exam dates have been announced, I'll be keeping a full day crash on that. They have covered another 20 to 25 case studies, very important from the exam perspective, and some additional skill-based questions. So these questions, sure, at least 15 to 20 marks will come in the exam. So when I share the link with all of you, please do share with your friends who are writing the SCMPE exam, or even you should attend if you are also writing your SCMPE exam. So let's pack up today's session, friends. But before I leave you, I will talk about Michael Phelps, how he actually became one of the greatest swimmers of all time with the power of visualization. I hope you all know who is Michael Phelps. Maybe I'll just show you his pic once so you will understand what I'm talking about. Just take the image. He is an Olympic gold medalist. Okay, and this guy has been one of the fastest swimmers that the world has ever seen. If you look at this pic, this shows the kind of achievement that Michael Phelps has actually done. These are all the gold medals that he has won alone. India, country as a whole, has not got this many gold medals. This fellow has done that all by himself. As a child, Michael Phelps had a very, very troubled childhood. His parents went through a divorce. So he was actually depressed. He was not fully in the right state of mind. He used to not get sleeps at night. There were days when he used to be absolutely frustrated because he couldn't feel the love of his family. And in school also he was not able to focus on academics. In order to break the stress, he used to swim. So one day his school principal actually saw that he was swimming very hard to break his frustration. But in that frustration, the speed at which he was swimming was amazing. It was an absolute kind of a speed that you never see in a school child. The principal called his mom because he was living with his mother and told that he needs some special advice and attention. He can actually do something very good as far as swimming is concerned. That is when they hired a coach for him. Coach, when he observed Michael Phelps, he realized that Michael Phelps is having the right kind of body. He has a lean upper body and strong legs which are required as a swimmer. But he had one very big drawback. That was he wasn't getting proper sleep. If you don't get good sleep, you cannot perform well. Now, in order to overcome the negativity in his mind, the coach came up with a visualization technique which he kept on telling to Michael Phelps as a kid. He told him that you should play the movie in your mind. Play the movie, play the movie, play the movie. Every day the same thing. He was given a small sponge ball in order to hold and just, press it to get relaxation. And when he said play the movie, ideally, the coach created a visualization technique which Michael Phelps used to see every day night before sleeping. And the technique was like this. He was visualized every day night that he is going to go to the swimming pool. He is going to jump and swim really fast, come back, and when he opens his eyes and he looks up, he will see that he has actually broken the world record. This vision Michael Phelps started seeing as a kid, hardly 12 years old. Every day, night before sleeping, he started seeing that vision. Every day, he started training to achieve that vision. Day and night, he used to practice consistently. Daily, his sleep pattern was absolutely stable. 11 o'clock, he will sleep. 6 o'clock, he will get up. 6:30, he will have his breakfast. That will consist of oatmeal, eggs, black coffee, cheese, basically high energy food so that he can swim throughout the day. Swimming will burn maximum amount of energy from your body, friends, so it requires some high energy food for him to have that kind of stamina. After that, Michael Phelps used to train every day and finally he reached to the Olympics. He started winning gold medals, he started breaking world records. But then, one fine day, he came on the news channel and he announced that in the coming Olympics, he will win 8 gold medals. Friends, no human being has been able to achieve 8 gold medals, but Michael Phelps openly challenged in front of the news that he will do it. That news went viral. People started observing him. People started thinking whether he's joking or whether he's serious. Then he started training aggressively to achieve those 8 gold medals. Day and night he was practicing. One day, while he was doing this training session, unfortunately, during the training, something went wrong in the exercise and he ended up spraining his right hand. He went and showed to the doctor. The doctors told him, forget about even swimming for the coming 1 year and completely forget about Olympics for time being because with a broken hand you cannot do it. Now, suddenly, Michael Phelps has been seeing a dream of achieving these gold medals from his childhood. His vision has been pushing him to do this, but now his hand is broken. Can he give up and just sleep? He cannot sleep because the moment he sleeps, he sees the vision in his mind of, going and winning those gold medals. He was so depressed, but his mind was restless. Every day his mind kept on thinking of only one thing: how can I actually go and how can I actually win these gold medals? Every day sitting and thinking that way, one fine day he came up with an idea. He went back to the doctor and told him, "Doctor, I am going to swim." Doctor told him, "Sorry, you cannot." He said, who's telling you that I am going to swim with my hands? I will only be swimming with my legs. And that day, his doctor gave him some waterproof, tied his hand accordingly so that he can go in the water and swim without using his hands. For 1 year, he trained his lower body so strong, every day he will go in the water and swim only with his legs. And that made his legs very, very strong compared to any other swimmer. After 1 year, his hands recovered, he came back to his normal style and his hand was his natural thing. He started training again and he could actually develop the speed once again. After this, he went for the Olympics and he started winning the gold medals one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Final one, the 8th gold medal was the final swim for which he was going to go. And if he did this, he would actually keep up the promise that he gave in the news channel. That time, he went at the same pace, he went to the swimming pool and when the whistle blew, he jumped into the water. But now, there was a small complication. The moment he jumped inside the water, his goggles were not put correctly. Water went into his eyes. And friends, the moment water goes inside your eyes, you cannot see, you're forced to shut your eyes closed. And the moment Michael Phelps closed his eyes for a split of a second, he couldn't see anything. But the moment he closed his eyes, the movie which he has been seeing from his childhood started playing again automatically. He started visualizing that he's swimming straight towards the end, take a U-turn, come back, and when he opens his eyes, he will see that he has broken the world record. He closed his eyes and he started swimming without seeing anything in the front. Because of the experience what he had, he could actually swim in the right pace, reach the closing point, correctly touch, take a U-turn and swim back. Now when he's swimming back, he could hear everyone clapping. Now he is absolutely confused. Are they clapping for him or are they clapping for somebody else? Is somebody else swimming faster than Michael Phelps? He could not tolerate that because he has given a promise of getting 8 gold medals. He started swimming faster and faster, gave it his 100% energy. Finally, he touched the finishing line, came out, opened the goggles, and the water started flowing down. For a few seconds, he could not see anything, and then he just wiped his eyes and he looked up and he saw that he actually broke his own world record and he got the 8th gold medal also. Friends, one very powerful lesson what I learned from Michael Phelps is that visualization really works. But for visualization to work, you should visualize every day without fail. You should visualize what you want on a daily basis so that it goes deep down your subconscious mind. After that, you get so much accustomed to it that you will end up achieving what you are dreaming of. So friends, this is my message to all of you today. Visualize. Visualize that you're working hard for the exam. Visualize that even though exam is tough, you are tougher than the exam. Visualize that once the exams are over and the results are coming, you see those two wonderful words, pass, pass. Visualize that you have become a chartered accountant and celebrate your life king size. See you in the next class, friends. Monday morning, not tomorrow. Monday morning at 7 o'clock. Have a nice time ahead. Thank you so much.